Welcome to the Gospel Road. No, it's been a couple weeks. It's been kind of crazy for me lately, but hey, let's go ahead and get it started for today. Matthew 11 is what we're going to look at. It says, when Jesus had finished instructing his 12 disciples, he went on from there to teach and preach in their cities. Now, when John heard in prison about the deeds of the Christ, he sent word by his disciples and said to him, "Are you the one who is to come, or shall we look for another?" And Jesus answered them, "Go and tell John what you hear and see. The blind receive their sight, and the lame walk. Lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear. And the dead are raised up, and the poor have good news preached to them. And blessed is the one who is not offended by me." As they went away, Jesus began to speak to the crowds concerning John. "What did you go out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken by the wind? What did you go out to see? A man dressed in soft clothing? Behold, those who wear soft clothes are in kings' houses. What did you go out to see? A prophet? Yes, I tell you, and more than a prophet. This is he of whom it is written, 'Behold, I send my messenger before your face, who will prepare your way before you.' Truly I say to you, among those born of women, there has arisen no greater than John the Baptist. Yet the one who is least in the kingdom or of heaven is greater than he. From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven has suffered violence, and the violence taken it by force. For all the prophets and law prophesied until John, and if you are willing to accept it, he is Elijah who is to come. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. But to what shall I compare this generation? It is like children sitting in the marketplace and calling to their playmates. We played the flute for you, and you did not dance. We sang a dirge, and you did not mourn. For John came neither eating nor drinking, and they say he has a demon. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, 'Look at him, a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners.' Yet wisdom is justified by her deeds." Then he began to denounce the cities where most of his mighty works had been done, because they did not repent. "Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Bethesda! For if the mighty works done in you had been done in Tyre or Sidon, then they would have repented long ago in sackcloth and ashes. But I tell you, it will be more bearable on the day of judgment for Tyre and Sidon than for you. And you, Capernaum, will you be exalted to heaven? You will be brought down to Hades. For if the mighty works done in you have been done in Sodom, it would have remained until this day. But I tell you that it will be more tolerable on the day of judgment for the land of Sodom than for you." At that time Jesus declared, "I thank you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, that you have hidden these things from the wise and the understanding and revealed them to little children. Yes, Father, for such was your gracious will. All things have been handed over to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Matthew 11 is what we're looking at today, and talking about John the Baptist and the cities that Jesus had visited and shared, and how they accepted or did not accept what he was sharing them. But I just want to kind of look at the last part of the chapter, 25 down. Come to me and I will give you rest. That's what Jesus says. Come to me, all who are labor and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. I mean, how many times I know for me, in fact, this is one that just really drives home to me, because the past couple of weeks have been so crazy, and I'm thinking about how I need that break. I need that time away. I need the rest. So I'm able to recharge and keep moving forward and keep doing what it is that I need to do. And a lot of us do not take that time. I mean, we're talking about, spiritual rest, and we're talking about even physical when we're reading this in Matthew 11. But those are all the things that many times when you're trying to be successful and you just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and you kind of forget about is that downtime. That downtime for you, the downtime for your family, downtime for your friends. I know it's not always easy. I mean, I was reading something a couple of weeks ago, and at least here in the United States, at the turn of the century, the average worker was working around 100 hours a week. 100 hours a week, which is different from our 40-hour work weeks that we have now. I mean, think about how not able to take that time to get that rest today, and then we're working 100 hours. I mean, isn't that just crazy to even think about that? I mean, I would just be exhausted all the time. All the time. I mean, that's basically you get 68 hours of downtime because you're working 100 hours a week. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Isn't that interesting? It's not a lot of time to spend to, focus on you, to focus on your family, to be able to do things. And back then, I guess you could also look at, there wasn't as much to do, except for reading or different things. I mean, unlike today, we have so many distractions that get in front of us, from social media to TV to, fill in the blank, whatever that distraction is for you. What are you using to distract yourself so when you do get the downtime that you're not able to put that away and just kind of step away? Had many conversations with friends and different people, and talking about how you need to schedule that time. You need to schedule that time of rest, that you need to schedule that time to just put everything away. Schedule that quiet time so you're able to sit there and kind of clean your palate, clean your mind to get through that next piece, to keep moving forward. For me, things have just been so crazy. And I'll be honest, I haven't even been scheduling that time and getting that for the past couple weeks. And my mind, I'm trying to be creative to write some things that I need for my job, and I'm not able to. My mind is not slowing down enough to get it done. And like I said, I've even been so busy, I haven't been able to do a podcast for a couple weeks. There's just no place to go, no time to get it done. And then today I'm going, I have a little bit of time. I need to do it, and I'm going to, and that's what I'm doing right now. These are important things that we do need to think about. How are we taking care of ourselves? What are we doing to make sure we are being the best that we can be, that we are being at the top of our game? Personally, professionally, spiritually. We're talking across the board. Whenever I have these conversations and share with you, it's those three pieces. You want to be the best that you can be. You want to be at the top of that game. You want to be, able to react. You need to be able to, somebody asks you a question and boom, you can just come right back and give them that answer. I've not been there. So a lot of this, when I do this, it's holding myself accountable. Even though I'm sharing with you, it's like, I'm not doing this. Well, I'm failing at it like most people. None of us are different. We're all the same. We put our pants on one leg at a time. We all bleed blood. When it hits oxygen, it's red. Inside our body, it's blue. The things to think about. Taking that rest. Taking that time for ourselves, to have that conversation with God, taking that time to ourselves to have that conversation with our family, taking the time to have the conversation with friends. Jesus said, "Come to me, all who are labor and are heavy laden, I will give you rest." Are you doing that? Are you a manager? Are you a supervisor that is allowing or telling those that are under you, that work for you, that maybe even work with you, to make sure they're taking that time out, to make sure they're being able to recharge? Because again, when people are stressed, when people are not getting their rest, the production goes down. I mean, when we read through history, you see about all the things that happened, the deaths, and because people were tired. They were just working all the time in the railroad and in the coal mines. I mean, just constantly working, and people would just fall over because they were exhausted. Even going back 1,000, 2,000 years ago. I'm sure if you did research, you'd find it then when they're working so hard because people were pushing them as they were building the pyramids or building whatever the temple was. Our bodies were out. Our minds were out. They need to be recharged. We need to exercise our mind as we need to exercise our body. Treat ourselves well, the best that we can, and help encourage, inspire others to do the same, to help them be the best that they can be. That's what it comes down. We're wanting to be better. And how can you be better if you're not taking that time to invest in yourself by getting your rest, by learning more, by reading those self-help books, by reading those encouragement books? How can you not get better? Even at the job that you're doing. I mean, what I've been doing it for almost 30 years. But it's still changing. It's always changing. And I need to make sure that I am learning all the new things. It's creating that philosophy for my occupation in my mind to understand how it works. I mean, there's so many pieces out there. You got to go, okay, I understand that one, but that doesn't always work the best. Or maybe this, you put them together. It's learning. Being the best that you can be. Asking the right questions. Not being part of the problem, but trying to help solve the problem when things happen. But again, we need to have that rest. Are you giving others rest? Are you helping them get that rest? Again, I believe, I know not everyone that listens to this does, and that's okay. But again, as I always encourage you, whenever I share, read this for yourself. What does it say to you? And see, for me, it comes to that. Rest. I will give you rest. Rest for your soul. It's important that we make sure we get that so we can do what it is that we need to do. Again, Matthew 11. Read that. What does it say to you? How does it help you grow to be that better person in your life? Thank you for listening to The Gospel Road. Have a great day. God bless.